Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. The updated and expanded second edition of my book, The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments, is now available. Readers can expect to march with Arnie's Army at the 1960 U.S. Open, relive Jack Nicklaus's remarkable 1986 Masters win, and be amazed by the Tiger Slam. The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments. Pick it up where fine books are sold, including BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
This Day in Sports History. And welcome back to This Day in Sports History, a member of the Sports History Podcast Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sports. You can learn more and find additional podcasts at sportshistorynetwork.com. It's June 28th, and on this day in 1997, Mike Tyson took not one, but two bites out of Evander Holyfield's ear. It was one of the most bizarre scenes in boxing history, if not all of sports history. This was the second Tyson-Holyfield fight, billed as The Sound and the Fury. These two had met in the ring 7 months earlier, with Holyfield winning after the referee stopped the fight in the 11th round. In that first fight, Tyson complained about headbutts from Holyfield. In the fight on this night, Holyfield was once again the aggressor, coming out in the first 2 rounds, landing punches and taking an early lead on all scorecards. In the second round, though, Holyfield ducked a Tyson punch, but when he did, he headbutted Tyson, opening a gash above Iron Mike's right eye. Referee Mills Lane called time to review the incident and ruled that the headbutt had been inadvertent, and the fight continued. But Tyson plotted his revenge. As the third round started, Tyson came out of his corner without his mouthpiece, but Lane sent him back to get it. Once the bell sounded to start the round, Tyson started throwing a flurry of punches with fury. The crowd, who had been supporting Holyfield in the early going, swung in Tyson's favor as his renewed vigor brought the crowd to its feet. But what happened next turned those watching ringside, at home, and forever on replay against Mike.
What happened here?
He got bit, I think.
Evander Holyfield, look out! He's pushed right here, above us by Tyson.
He's got bit in the ear.
Oh my goodness, he's got a bloody right ear. Holyfield bit by a dirty Mike Tyson.
So with 30 seconds left in the third round, after the two fighters had clinched, Tyson bit Holyfield's right ear and pulled a 1-inch piece of cartilage free, and he spit it to the mat. Lane paused the fight again. He deducted 2 points from Tyson's score, considered stopping the fight at that point, but allowed the fight to continue. 11 seconds after the restart, Tyson bit Holyfield's left ear, but Lane didn't see it in the moment.
A very angry Evander Holyfield now. A left hook.
You know, it's funny, Mike was having his best
He
round.
bit him again.
He did it again. Mike Tyson has bitten Evander Holyfield for the second time, and it is all-out war.
I'll tell you what, this is unbelievable.
The bell rang, ending the third round. Lane reviewed the tape and made the decision then to disqualify Tyson. That did not end the punches being thrown, though.
More fighting in the ring after the end of the fight. Tyson's trying to get at Holyfield again, I believe. It is complete bedlam, and Tyson is just taking swipes at anybody in front of him.
Tyson meandered towards Holyfield's corner, and then he tried to get at him again. Police officers stepped in to restore order, and Tyson actually took a swing at one of them. After finally leaving the ring and heading back to his dressing room, a fan threw a bottle at Tyson, and police had to restrain Tyson and his entourage from going after the bottle thrower. After the fight, the Nevada Boxing Commission withheld the $30 million loser's take from Tyson, pending an investigation. His boxing license was suspended, and he was fined $3 million for the biting incidents. His boxing license was reinstated later in the year. Now, a little side note to this story, as if this is not interesting enough, right? The day before the fight, Tyson had hopped into the driver's seat of his new Lamborghini. He put it in reverse, hit a parking barrier, but now thinking the car was cursed and he didn't want any pre-fight mojo affecting him, he got out of his car, tossed the keys to the parking attendant, and told the guy, "It's yours." On this day in 1976, it was the, Tommy Two-Tone Blind Melon Chumbawamba of baseball pitchers exploding onto the scene in a national television appearance. Maybe those comparisons are a little off. Mark the Bird Fidrych wasn't exactly a one-hit wonder. He had a full year of wonders. Well, on this night, Fidrych and his Detroit Tigers were at home against the New York Yankees. It was the national game of the night. And remember, kids, this is back when there were only 4 TV channels and not every game had television coverage. Fidrych was a quirky guy, and that, along with his unassuming nature, endeared him to the fans of Detroit, and after this night, to the nation. He kneeled on the mound, patting the dirt to get his spots just right, and when a pitch didn't do what he wanted it to do, he would talk to the baseball. He got the nickname Bird because he resembled Sesame Street's Big Bird. He was not an overpowering pitcher, though he did throw a 93-mile-per-hour slider. He got a lot of ground ball outs, and he pitched in a lot of innings. In front of 48,000 at Tiger Stadium and millions watching at home on this night, Fidrych baffled the Yankees in a 5-1 win, and he boosted his record to 8-1. He would go on to win 19 games that season, pitch a league-leading 24 complete games, and lead the league with a 2.34 ERA. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, which makes sense, but he was also on the cover of Rolling Stone. After this game, Fidrych was the most famous baseball player on the planet. He was the American League Rookie of the Year, and his star shone brightly. But disaster lurked just around the corner. So, what happened to Fidrych? Well, in spring training of 1977, he tore cartilage in his right knee, and he may have come back from that injury a little bit too soon. His arm soon lost the ability to throw the ball with any velocity. It actually wasn't until 10 years later, after his career was finished, that Fidrych would find out he actually had a torn rotator cuff, which some say happened in trying to compensate for his knee injury. But at least for a brief moment on this night, Fidrych electrified baseball fans with his eclectic style. Maybe the better musical reference would be the Def Leppard line, "It's better to burn out than fade away." Though I imagine the Bird would have liked a few more years. His career only lasted 5 seasons, but the last 4 were injury-marred, and after winning 19 in his rookie season, he only won 10 in the next 4. So while the Bird is one of the big what-ifs in sports, another one happened on this night in 2007 when the Portland Trail Blazers selected Greg Oden out of Ohio State with the top pick in the NBA draft. The Seattle Supersonics selected Texas's Kevin Durant with the 2nd pick. NBA fans know how this went. Oden would go down with the likes of other Trailblazer top picks LaRue Martin, Michael Thompson, and Sam Bowie as what were we thinking picks. Oden injured his knee and missed the entire year. Durant went on to win Rookie of the Year honors, scoring more than 20 a game. Oden would come back in year 2, play 61 games, and average 9 points over that stretch. In year 3, Oden started just 21 games before re-injuring the knee. That injury kept him on the bench for the next 3.5 seasons. His last season in the NBA was spent with Miami, and he played in just 23 games with the Heat. Durant, on the other hand, is still going at age 35 and is coming off a pretty good year with the Phoenix Suns, where he averaged 27 a game and finished 9th in the MVP voting, which all makes you wonder, what if Portland had chosen Durant instead of Oden on this night in 2007? And usually when you mention that someone took a dive in reference to a sporting event, that's going to mean something negative. Well, on this day in 1981, golfer Jerry Pate took a dive, but it was after he won the Danny Thomas Memphis Classic. Pate sank his birdie putt on the 18th to secure a 2-shot win. It had been a bit of a drought for Pate, going 3 years on tour without cashing a winner's check and finishing second an agonizing 8 times in that span. So he decided to soak up all that he could, and before he even signed his card and fully clothed, he jumped into the greenside lake. It became his signature move. In '82, he jumped in the lake after winning the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass. Time now for today's non-sports Did You Know? Do you know someone named Jessica? Well, that name did not exist until Shakespeare created it for his play Merchant of Venice in 1598. That's all for today. I'll have more tomorrow on This Day in Sports History. This Day in Sports History is a proud member of the Sports History Podcast Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sports. You can learn more and find additional podcasts at sportshistorynetwork.com. And one of those you'll find is When Football Was Football, hosted by Joe Ziemba. There's a new episode out now, and you can check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.